think that I'm a very stylized looking person. I think I'm like a walking drawing of myself, and I'm always dressed up in some kind of costume. When you've lived kind of your own life according to your own way of thinking, you automatically become a rebel. You had to fill out many, many papers to go into the Army, and there was a question that said, ridiculously enough, I remember when I looked at it, I thought, this is ridiculous. But I was scared and I didn't answer it. And the question was, have you ever had any homosexual thoughts or desires or experience? Well, thoughts, whether you were gay or not, you've had a homosexual thought, right? And when I was finally inducted into the Army, when I got on the bus to leave, and I saw the people, I knew where I would fit in or not fit in. So I just demanded to be let off the bus, and they were crazy. And what I did was I went back into the building after much activity and people being, well, what's he doing? Because I was the first person in that part of the state to ever declare question 7. So when I went in, I said, I lied. And they said, on what? And I said, on question 7. And then they were, oh, what do we do with him? But they sent me to a psychiatrist in a car with 2 guys, soldiers with guns, pointed at me. Because I was a deserter, because I had already done the pledge, where you put your hand on the Bible, and you say, I will, whatever, participate and be a good citizen and a good soldier and all that. So I was actually in the Army for about a half hour. And then they sent me to a psychiatrist, and I was terrified, because I had no reference point here. I had jumped off a cliff, and where was I going to land? As it turned out, I landed in a very nice place, because when it was finally my turn at the psychiatrist, when I walked in the door, he was a very attractive man, and maybe 40, and I sat down and he was looking at my papers, and he said, look, I don't have to read this. You don't want to be in the Army. And I said, no, I don't. And he said, you're out. So I said, well, thank you, and I got up to leave, and he said, no, I want to be paid for an hour, so you have to stay here and talk for an hour. And I did. And then he took me to the movies, and so on. So anyway, my Army career was fabulous. I always wanted to get out of where I was living. I wanted to go to New York. I wanted to go to a big city. I wanted to see what I saw in magazines, because I was a magazine freak. And I just wanted that life. The day that I was going to school, I headed right out to hear music, and I just was so free and happy. And, the very first concert I ever went to was just the first night that I arrived. I had $50 that I had gotten from people for going away to school, and I went to Symphony Hall, and it was jazz at the Philharmonic, and the stars were Count Basie and Ella Fitzgerald, and I went to that, and I was like, this was my dream, and here I was in it, And at the intermission, this man came up to me, young man, maybe 35, 30, and he said, are you alone? And I said, yes. And he said, oh, would you like to go for a drink after the concert? And I said, oh, I can't go for a drink. I'm only 16. And Boston is 21 at that time. So I was really a child. And he said, well, where do you want to go? And I named this club that I wanted to go to where they had more music. So he said, okay, and he took me to that, and then he walked me home. And I saw him a few times after that, and I always think about what a nice person he was, because I knew he had other intentions, but he never hit on me for anything more than I was ready for, He would take me to the movies or something, and we'd sit on the front steps of the brownstone house that I rented a room in. And but he never tried anything. I couldn't stand the art school because it was very classic. Like you would arrive in the morning and they would put a big cast or a big statue of a foot, and you were supposed to sit there all day and draw that foot. Well, that wasn't for me. I wanted to draw pretty girls with dresses with big bows on them and stuff. I wanted fun, so I quit school. And I just started going into shops, and people would say, "Oh, this is nice," and they would hire me, like at Christmas time, to do little catalogs and things. So that I started drawing professionally then, and I haven't done anything else since. It's taken me everywhere. I've met, people that were just legends to me, and I sat with them and became friends with them. So being an artist can be a very good thing.